At some point in life, the dynamics between parents and children begin to change. You invest years nurturing them, steering them, and making sacrifices for their future. Then one day you notice that something has shifted. They might just overlook your advice. They might overlook your opinions. They might belittle you, or even worse, make you feel like a burden. And that really stings. When your children begin to show you less respect than you deserve, it's natural to feel frustrated and even angry. Consider reminding them of all you've done for them and the years you've dedicated to putting them first. But let's be real, getting angry won't solve anything. It often just complicates matters even more. There's a far better way to earn their respect back. No fighting, no arguments, and absolutely no resentment involved. Today, I'm excited to share 6 powerful strategies to regain respect from your children. These are impactful shifts, simple changes in your responses that can entirely reshape how they perceive you. Get ready for some surprises. Stick around until the end, and you'll learn how to reclaim your status as a respected and valued presence in their lives. Let's dive in and get started. First step, stop seeking their approval. One of the biggest pitfalls parents encounter, particularly as they age, is the tendency to overextend themselves in an effort to satisfy their children. Have you caught yourself doing it? You really go the extra mile to make them feel welcome. You're agreeing when you really want to decline. You prioritize their needs over yours, believing that if you give enough, they'll value you more. But here's the hard reality. Chasing their approval only leads to diminishing respect. Do you get what I'm saying? Respect doesn't come from self-sacrifice. It's gained through self-respect. When you constantly bend over backward, give in, I'm one, and strive to maintain peace, you're sending a clear message. Ooh, your feelings take a back seat. Once they start believing that, it's all too easy for them to take you for granted. Let me tell you about a remarkable woman named Margaret. She was a strong, independent lady in her younger years, and her story is truly inspiring. As she grew older, she began to empower her children to make all the decisions. She shifted her schedule to accommodate their needs, held back her thoughts, and brushed off their condescending remarks. "I just want to keep the family together," she said to me one time. So what went down? Her children no longer appreciated her. They viewed her as the one who would constantly adapt, always nod in agreement, and remain quiet. She believed she was maintaining harmony. What she was truly doing was silencing her own voice. When your children aren't showing you respect, the initial move isn't to insist on it. Stop pretending like you need it. Establish clear boundaries. Don't hesitate to say no when it's necessary. Share your thoughts boldly, regardless of whether others agree with you. Once you begin to respect yourself, they'll start to see you in a whole new light. Eventually, that respect will find its way back to you. Take action too. Instead of arguing, show the way through your own example. When your children brush off your opinions, interrupt you, or show you disrespect, your initial reaction may be to argue, to remind them of all you've done, or to insist that they pay attention. Listen up. Here's a game changer that can save you years of frustration. Arguing never works. Consider this. When did you last stand up and earn someone's respect through your determination? Respect isn't just about what you say, it's about how you show up. It's in your demeanor and how you handle challenges when others push your buttons. When you respond to disrespect with anger, you only reinforce their belief that they hold power over you. Meet Frank, a retired teacher who dedicated his life to inspiring students with unwavering confidence in the classroom. At home, his adult children began to treat him like an afterthought. They brushed off his advice, waved away his concerns, and occasionally even laughed when he attempted to set them straight. Initially, he pushed back, determined to show that he still earned their respect. Yet, with every battle he faced, the situation only spiraled further out of control. One day, Frank decided to make a change. Rather than getting into a debate, he began to listen, truly listen. He ceased the pursuit of respect through words and began to embody the presence of a man who already possessed it. He spoke with calm confidence, sharing his wisdom effortlessly, unconcerned with the need to win. Gradually, his children began to take notice. They encountered a man who exuded confidence, who had no need for their validation, who was simply a figure of strength. If your children aren't showing you respect, don't engage in a battle over it. Demonstrate respect through the way you treat yourself. Maintain your dignity. Communicate with assurance. Above all, always rise above their level. When you stand firm with confidence, others will notice, and eventually they'll be inspired to follow your example. If you're still tuned in and enjoying these insights, drop a comment with the number 2 below to show me you're with me. If you haven't subscribed yet, now's the time. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you won't miss any of our exciting videos. Your support drives us to keep producing great content that informs and inspires you. Let's keep pushing ahead. Step 3. Break free from your emotional dependence. As you age, one of the toughest realizations is that your emotional fulfillment can't rely on your children. It's possible to feel a deep love for them, and you likely desire their love and respect in return. As soon as they realize you need them to feel appreciated, the dynamic of the relationship changes completely. Let's get real, folks, even your own kids. Honor those who stand strong in their emotional independence. Relying on them for validation, affection, or attention creates pressure. Instead of feeling grateful, they begin to feel weighed down. They could distance themselves. They could begin to show impatience or even irritation towards you. The harder you pursue their love, the more they hold back. Let me tell you about a remarkable woman I once knew. Her name was Helen. She was a devoted mother who poured her heart and soul into her children. As they got older and immersed in their own lives, she found herself anxiously waiting by the phone, longing for their call. When they failed to reach out, she took the initiative and called them, frequently, perhaps too frequently. She expressed just how much she missed them and how she longed for more visits. Instead of drawing them together, it drove them apart. They began to view her calls as a chore rather than something they eagerly anticipated. One day, Helen decided to shake things up. She took action and moved on. She was the one who stopped reaching out first. She shifted her focus to herself, diving into new hobbies, enjoying outings with friends, and prioritizing her own happiness. Then, something unexpected occurred. Her children began to call more often. They began to value her time, recognizing her as a person with a vibrant life of her own. It's a straightforward lesson. When you rely less on your children for validation, they'll begin to appreciate your presence even more. When you demonstrate your strength and independence, respect will follow. Not from obligation, but from a true admiration for the life you've created. Step 4. Establish boundaries and make sure to uphold them. One major reason children lose respect for their parents is that parents allow it to happen. When you let your children speak to you disrespectfully, ignore your opinions, or act like your time and feelings are unimportant, they're going to continue that behavior. It's not that they are bad people, it's that family and others will always treat you according to the boundaries you set. Establishing boundaries isn't about shutting your children out or sparking disagreements. It's about confidently and clearly determining the behaviors you will accept and those you won't. Most importantly, it means taking action to enforce those boundaries when they are crossed. Let me tell you about a man named Robert. He's a retired businessman who dedicated his life to running a company with unwavering discipline and confidence. However, he faced challenges with his adult children. They cut him off mid-sentence, brushed aside his worries, and even took jabs at his lifestyle. Initially, he put up with it. He convinced himself that the struggle wasn't worth it. However, he eventually understood that each moment of silence was a lesson in acceptance of their behavior. One day, Robert decided to switch things up. When his son interrupted him, he confidently replied, "I'll keep going when you're ready to listen." When his daughter brushed off his opinion, he responded, "You don't have to agree with me, but I expect you to respect me." When they kept pushing his limits, he made it clear. If they couldn't show him basic respect, he wouldn't be hanging out with them. Guess what happened next? They began to pay attention. Initially, they pushed back. However, as time passed, they came to understand that their father was not going to relent. They recognized that he held himself in high regard and expected respect in return. As a result, they began to give it to him. If your children aren't showing you respect, it's crucial to reflect on whether you're enabling that behavior. Set your boundaries or others will do it for you. Stand up for yourself because if you don't, who will? If you're still tuned in and enjoying these insights, drop a comment with the number 4 below to show me you're with me. If you haven't subscribed yet, now's the time. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you won't miss a single video. Your support fuels our mission to create engaging content that informs and inspires you. Let's keep pushing ahead. Step 5. Stop giving without receiving appreciation. One of the fastest ways to lose respect is by continuously giving to those who don't value it. As parents, we find ourselves doing this more often than we think. We invest our time, energy, and support, even when it's overlooked, even when it's undervalued, and even when we're faced with sheer entitlement. Let's get real. Giving to someone who doesn't value it won't create love. Respect isn't something you build. You create anticipation. They begin to view your kindness not as a precious gift, but as something they deserve. As soon as you pause, they lose that sense of gratitude. They feel put out. Let me tell you about a man named George. He was a father who never held back when it came to generosity for his children. He was always there for them, providing financial support whenever necessary, dropping everything to lend a hand, and even reshaping his life to meet their needs. Instead of receiving gratitude, he faced a barrage of complaints. They forgot to say thank you. They anticipated greater things. And the most frustrating part? When he finally reached out for their help, they were too caught up in their own lives. One day, George decided to make a change. He finally learned to set boundaries. He stopped offering help even before anyone could ask for it. Most importantly, he began to say no when it was necessary. Initially, his children felt frustrated. They couldn't grasp why he had stopped going above and beyond for them. However, as time went on, a change occurred. They began to appreciate his time. They began to recognize his efforts when they suddenly understood that his generosity had its limits. It was a gift, not something you could count on. When it seems like your children aren't valuing your time, effort, or kindness, it's time to pause and reflect. Consider this. Are you pouring out more than you really need to? What would happen if you just stopped? When you show that your generosity depends on respect, people will begin to treat it that way. Step 6. Create a fulfilling life beyond their influence. One of the most impactful ways to earn your children's respect is by demonstrating that your happiness isn't solely dependent on them. As parents, we naturally pour our hearts into our children, making them the focal point of our lives. As we age, that dynamic changes. If you've dedicated your whole life to them, they might begin to view you as someone with nothing else happening. People admire individuals who possess their own purpose, pursue their own interests, and find their own sense of fulfillment. If your children notice that you depend on them for entertainment, validation, or meaning, they could end up feeling suffocated or even worse. They could begin to view you as someone lacking a life of your own. Let me tell you about Eleanor, a remarkable widow in her late 70s. After her husband passed, she dedicated herself entirely to her children's lives, constantly checking in, offering unsolicited advice, and hoping they would fill the void left by her husband. Instead of bringing them together, it drove them apart. They dropped by less often. Their calls grew brief, and Eleanor felt more isolated than ever. She made a choice. She became a member of a book club. She began her adventures with friends by her side. She jumped in to help at a local community center. She shifted her focus away from making her children the center of her universe, and something amazing unfolded. Her children began to connect more frequently. They couldn't help but wonder what she was up to. They were captivated by her independence. They held her in high regard. If your children aren't showing you respect, take a moment to reflect. Do they view you as someone who leads a full and meaningful life? Or do they view you as someone just hanging around, hoping for their attention? When you demonstrate that you are truly living, not merely existing, they will begin to see you in a whole new way. If you are still tuned in and enjoying these insights, drop a comment with the number 6 below to show me you're here. If you haven't subscribed yet, now's the time. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you won't miss any of our videos. Your support fuels our mission to deliver engaging content that informs and inspires you. Wrapping it up. Respect is something that must be earned, not demanded from your children. You inspire others by the way you carry yourself, set boundaries, and live your life. If they're treating you with less care, consideration, or respect, don't waste your energy on anger. Change your strategy. Stop seeking their approval. The less you crave it, the more they'll want to give it to you. Set the standard through your actions, as your integrity resonates more powerfully than anything you can say. Break free from emotional dependence. The more self-sufficient you become, the more they'll value your presence. Establish boundaries. So people will treat you according to the standards you set for them. Don't keep giving without recognition. When generosity is overlooked, it loses its true worth. Most importantly, create a life beyond them. People admire those who have their own purpose, joy, and sense of fulfillment. Do these things and you'll witness something incredible unfold. Your children will begin to see you in a new way, not as someone seeking their attention, but as a figure who naturally commands respect just by being yourself. Over time, that respect will return to you, not because you asked for it, but because you truly earned it. We appreciate you being here with us today. We want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell us one thing you learned today and how you intend to apply it in your life. We value your thoughts, so feel free to share them with us. Your comments truly inspire and energize us. If you love this video and found it useful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with others. Your support empowers us to keep delivering great content that informs and inspires you. We appreciate you tuning in, and we can't wait to catch you in the next video.